Welcome. Hello. Thank you so much for tapping in, turning on, tuning in with Enchantress the Babbler on our revolutionary rise of high that is happening at this time. And so, guess where we are? It just feels right. I like to do things that just feel natural. I know Hansel and Gretel was next, and now Hansel and Gretel wants to be read out loud. So welcome, welcome. If you are new here, um, welcome. If you are returning, welcome. Right. So we are reading, right? Um, stories that have been repurposed, right, together on this channel, right? And we've already read um 3 other magical fairy tales retold, right? And so definitely go check those out, right? Because we're reading them in the order that it is in the book. And so the ones that oh shoot, I left my place. Um that have already been previously recorded. I'll tell you the names right now. Right. The first one was narrating portals, magical fairy tales. It was Snow White's story, right? And then the second one was I Choose My Own Path, magical fairy tales. And this one was Red Riding Hood, right? And then the third one was, magical fairy tales, Rumpelstiltskin. Okay, and then now the long-awaited Hansel and Gretel, right? And it's funny too because as often as we hear these stories, like when we are children, depending on which generation you come from, I know from my generation of kids, these stories were still being told. I knew this story. I read this story. I had this story. They had cartoons on these kind of things, and so we pretty much knew and know what it's all about, right? This little boy and this little girl venture off into the woods, and get lost and end up at a witch's house, right? But right now, as I sit here, I'm like forgetting the details, right? So I started to shuffle and journey came up and I'm like, yes, it's time to journey. So take with it that you will. Maybe you just like being read to. Well, hey baby, I'm gonna read to you right now in my own kind of way. I know I got many voices. That be me for every day. But the stories that are being told are not obviously written by me. They're by the author here from this book, but it'll be in my narration. So this is me reading it for the first time, real time with you. I didn't put any practice, boo boo. This is gonna be real up in here right now, right? And yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, we'll pull cards. Yeah, this is quite the journey. If you want to go watch the other 3 before watching this one, you know what I mean? Or you find yourself here and you're like, you know what, this is the story that's going to be for me. That which, whatever. Welcome. You can do whatever the fudge you want. You don't have to watch anything in any particular order. That's just the neurotic Virgo Capricorn traits, like tendencies in me that go a little neurotic sometimes with my little OCD. I like to do everything numeral in numerological order. In numerological in numerological order. In numerical order. Oh my goodness. Hey, okay. Right. So the story of Hansel and Gretel. Maybe this is the first time you're ever going to hear the story and you like my mystic flow. And so, yay, evolution is always so up in here, right? So welcome. Right. Right. I'm just gonna read. Okay. Um, and whatever comes to mind, Remember, I'm sitting on my bum at this time, and oh my God, glutes, I worked out. Oh my goodness. No, like glutes and like my stances and my poses and my swimming and all this other kind of shit. Like my booty is hurting. Like, so on the floor, like it just feels very, I feel it firm, you know? So I'm gonna be shifting a lot. I should get a little bit more comfortable. Actually, let me get a little bit more comfortable. Let me get a little bit more comfortable. Let me get a little bit more comfortable so that I can read to you, Hansel and Gretel. And if this is your first time ever hearing Hansel and Gretel and you're like rocking it out with me and you want me to be the first one to read to you Hansel and Gretel, I think you're so cute and thank you. I think that's awesome. I love to read. Um, I was that kid in class who every single time there was a chance to read out loud in the class, my hand was raised up so high because I was like, pick me, I want to read this time. And most kids always tend to be shy in this department of the reading department. And so not me, because I was like, oh, no, let me read. And so, yeah, that used to be me. And now here we are, right? Let me read to you, okay? We're going to journey on through and we're going to see what developments we have. Ooh, child. Okay, I know Hansel and Gretel got nothing to do between a courtship, too, but we're gonna journey through it because we are pulling our oracles divine, our tarots, our alchemy is here. This is like a sacred shrine. And so we have this opportunity to really get in, tap in, turn on, tune in with me because that is what we do. So, okay, someone could be in a relationship, in a friendship, in a courtship, in a marriage, whatever the case may be, for 4 to 5 years, 14 years too, whatever the case. 4, 5, that's what I'm really getting. 4, 5, maybe years together, courting, married, something. And there's a new journey. Okay, maybe going away. Maybe somebody got something to say. Could be 40, 41 years old. Don't have to be. Could be life path number 1, life path number 4. Could have been born on a day 4, month 4. That's April. April 4 are even here. April 10th, October 4th. All these dates might be significant to you. Don't have to be. So yeah, this journey through, as we journey to the journey, something is being decided, something is being brought into awareness, something is being brought to attention, something is being sorted out, something is being filed, something is being served. This could be in the distant horizons. Someone here could be 36 years old, 30 years old. You don't have to be 34, 33. Could have been born in 1963. Could be, I said 43, 36, 34, 30, 31, 41. We said this, right? Okay, 60, 61, 64, right? 46, 49, 45, 51. Don't mind me. I see these in weird ways, right? But it's okay. We all learn to listen to our intuition in different ways. And so something is growing, something is gestating, something is on the horizon, something is being worked on. 34, you could be 34 years old, 43 years old, it could be life path number 7, life path number 8, life path number 3. Right. Okay. So all these things, right? We have so much to discuss, but we have Hansel and Gretel to read. And so that's what we're going to do. Somebody could be having bad health too in what? income, right? So something needs to change, something with a false person misleading you in some kind of way. And that's what Hansel and Gretel got to say. So expect for the false people in your life to be revealed, because they bring to you the bad health that you can experience for real. And it doesn't have to be bad health, but it could be the energies of the entanglements of certain kind of things taking place in your life that just does not need to be there. It's like, why involve yourself in an energy that be false? So the false one be unmasked. And that is what we're going to get through, because there's a message coming in. Life path number 72 could have been born 1972, could be 27 years old. Someone is coming to you with a message about someone else. Ooh. Okay. I haven't pulled these out in a while. If you like these cards and you like the way I vibe and rhyme and align with these, because I really, really do, then you would enjoy thoroughly. A couple of years back, I used to create soap opera tarot, and I always use these. So I'll post one like in the community board and stuff like that. But definitely, if you like these kind of cards, definitely go check out all my soap opera tarots. There's other names too that I've used, but maybe if you find the soap opera tarots, then you'll know the time frame to search where I was using these a lot. Right? Because these always reveal to me the tea. So some chick is coming to you with some message about something, right? And about that person could be the false person, or that person is going to reveal to you a false person. But you know what I mean? And they're trying to flip upside down your money. That's what it is, right? Because if people could get you to feel a type of way, then they already win, because they put you in the vibration that you need to spin, right? That can fuck around with your great fortune. So nah, you don't let that be, right? You're like, I'm onto your slick Rick rule. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you can't get to me. You know what I mean? And so it'd be like that. It'd be like that. It really be like that. And this could be like competition in the workplace arena and stuff like that. People in despair because they have this poverty mindset out there, right? It's like, okay, I don't know why that, right? So that could bring up major concern for the person that's privileged here, right? You're a privilege, right? And it's just like, what do we do about these energies that we can't do nothing about, but we have to somehow coexist with, right? Right? But they bring this, right? So maybe, let me see, Hansel and Gretel, you know what I mean? So something with a courtship and despair. Okay. There's a lot of things that I'm receiving for this right now. Someone here might be expecting a certain outcome in regards to maybe a courtship, like someone choosing them and stuff like that. But like, it's like, rejection for your protection, because once this takes place, there's somebody else that comes in. So it's unexpected. Like, so it's like having this long ass courtship or something like that, and it's in despair, and now you're on somebody's mind, and this is rare, and so something unexpected is to happen out there, right? So this could be too that a relationship is in turmoil, not turmoil, but it's just in bad health, right? Like, because there might be something off, but something is to be expected, right? In regards to a message. You see what I'm talking about? This fucking message about a thief. Look at that, right? In a house, right? That, see, they're trying to get away with a great fortune. So somebody could be spreading lies too. Somebody could just not be aware of the thieves that they have out there that want to enter their home, their lair. So don't be letting people in your house, especially that you don't know. People could be actually sending you something, or think that they're sending you something. Just be aware. Be aware that there's people out there that are fake, and phony. So it's like giving your address to somebody that maybe you shouldn't have, right? But you know what? You're divinely guided and protected anyway. So really, what can that do? Right? So, but you never know, right? The thief that can come in and steal your joy. Right. So, oh boy, right? Oh, look at that. You could be 51 years old, 52 years old, you could be 25, you could be life path number 7. Okay. But expect unexpected wealth. Okay. That's gonna help. So when I be back, we are going to move on to Hansel and Gretel. Okay. And something I want to say too that's coming to mind before I continue and read, it's just gonna be like this. Like even if you're not into this kind of stuff, like I know I do what I want. Anyways, um, don't let other people's own self-importance about themselves um cause you to feel a type of way about yourself, making you feel like like you asking for too much, or like you're off in your intuition, or like don't be gaslighted, right? From like, people could be trying to be spiteful or just energetically nasty towards you because they want you to pay them more mind or make them feel that level of importance that others feel about them. Like they want you to view them in that same light, but because you're not starstruck or you're not like nah, like what the fuck? Like you get what I'm saying? Like, dude, like not like I don't give a fuck who you think you is. Like what? Excuse me? Because you're not a fan, right? And it's like you're complimentary. You get what I mean? Like you're a complimentary healthy friend. You're a complimentary healthy partner. You're a complimentary healthy you fill in the fucking blank to whatever the fuck you are, to whomever you are, wherever you are. And so people that have that ego, that have that narcissism, that have that entity attached to their energy, where they want you to acknowledge them in that kind of way, right? Um, and then here you are, like you are kind, you are nice, you treat everybody the same, like whatever the case may be. Like even like for me, like I could say, like for me, people always try to like either like humble me, like in some kind of way, like they feel a type of way about the way I shine or the way that I light up a room or the way the fuck that I am, right? And then when they learn that I'm like this, it's not a show, it's not a fucking like whatever. And you know how people put up fronts when they go to people, like it's granted when you go to public outings and all this kind of stuff, you go and you perk up, you like whatever the case may be, but like that high vibing kind of stuff or whatever the case may be. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But like, right? And then like when people like change their energy with you, like if there's one thing that I am and me and my dad will be laughing, like because I be saying it, I'm like, what's the one thing that I really am? Is sensitive to energy. So anything off in a person's energy field, I feel instantly. Whether I say something about it, I've learned you can't say something about everything that you feel a shift, but you feel that shit, right? And so you grow to trust and you grow to know and you grow to like whatever the case may be. And so now when you pull your energy back, like when you're not being that extra nice anymore, and it's not that you're not being extra nice, it's like you're actually just not going out of your way. I'm not going out of my way anymore to give you extra love when you don't even appreciate or value that which is already being given to you, right? And so you take back your energy, and now they feel like scorned, like if you're doing something like maliciously. Meanwhile, it's projection. You know what I mean? They're projecting onto you. So don't be gaslit about that too. When you're like, nah, like, because if there's one thing that those of you tapped in, turned on, tuned in with me, you've learned about yourself is that you've tolerated so much nonsense in your life that really was just uncalled for. And had these people not brought it to that, you would have never went there on your own. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, I would have never thought about that. But thanks for making me have to now. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, shit like that. Which is why sometimes you get caught off guard, because you don't think about shit like that, but they do. And then they project that shit onto you. Ah, nah, you acting funny with me. Yeah, because your energy shifted with me. You want to talk about that? Or you want to pretend? Listen, I know what the fuck it feels like when somebody wants to look at me side motherfucking ways. Right? That's just our auric field talking. That's just the auric field. That's just scratching the surface. There's a lot more to it. Right? But people are never ready for those kind of conversations. But anyways, but for whomever is tapped and turned on, tuned in, don't like, it's just like, you know, and be like, oh, you don't call me anymore. Yeah, because when I did before, you didn't value that. Oh, you don't come around anymore. Yeah, because when I did, you acted like it was nothing. Oh, you know, like you unfollowed me. Yeah, because you see every one of my motherfucking posts and you don't like none of them. Oh, oh, you like, you know, people act dumb. People act dumb. Like, you know why I unfollowed you? Because you never like shit. You watch, but you never like. Now you notice? The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Anyways. Gotta laugh and shake it off. But now that we're here, Hansel and Gretel will be read to you. I hope you like it too. This is making me think of Cancer, the sign of Cancer, you know, 69. You know what I mean? All right, hold on. Hansel and Gretel. The forest is said to be beautiful. Oh, the forest. Okay, I'm gonna start again. Cut. All right, I gotta get in the mood. I had to move my butt and I didn't move my butt. And let me move my butt. Action. The forest is said to be beautiful. Oh, the forest, people say, speaking from their safe homes and their warm fireplaces with their round bellies full of food, their family nodding, only half listening. They've seen 3 trees and a flower bed, and they think they know what nature is. I would love to live in the forest, they sigh, imagining buttercups and dragonflies and clouds skidding across blue, blue skies. And I think, would you? Would you really? Because the forest is not what they imagine it to be. They don't know it from the inside. They are just visitors who, at best, live on the forest edge. But those of us who have been into the forest's bleak heart, we know it as well as any human can. and you do not want to live in the forest we went to. Because there, people take you into the woods to lose you and let you die. My brother and I were not happy, but we were safe. We even had moments of joy. It's true, mostly with each other. And our father told us story after story for a long time about how happy we had been when our mother was alive. I can remember her, but my memories are soft and blurred, like a dream dreamt long ago. Her smell, rainwater and mist and flowers and gingerbread. Her smile like daybreak. Her hair, not soft like they say in the stories, but rough and brown and strong, curled and tangled as tree roots. Our mother told us stories and sang us songs and taught us many little things that seemed to have no use once she was gone. The forest took her, our father said. He came home one day and we were there, standing by the front door, waiting for her. We couldn't remember where she said she was going, but she had always left us for hours at a time to find food, to forage and hunt, to bring home a small animal for the three-legged pot by the fire, or corns to grind for flour, and herbs and roots for sweetmeats. Sometimes wildflowers, which we'd wind up into a garland for the door to invite the elves in, she'd say. And father was happy. I don't remember being happy myself, but I remember our father and mother's smiles and their laughter and how often we four sat together. I slept safe in father's lap and he rocked me till I dreamt and we were loved. We were loved once. So our mother was taken by the forest and my father, whom I've never seen without purpose and industry and a quest to make a good fire or build a home in a town far away or split enough wood to make a dent in that great forest, he was never properly alive ever again. He was felled, just as if he was a great tree and her disappearance was the axe that brought him down. And there were no more garlands and no roots for the soup in the three-legged pot, and never again were there sweetmeats for us. I can relate to that. And for those of you that may have like lost a parent at such a young age, like after my mom died, my father was a fucking mess. And if it weren't for my grandparents, honestly, like for picking up the slack where he like fell, you know, as torturous and venomous as I believed that to be, because I felt like I was left in hell's hole. um when I look back on that now, I think like gratitude, like it could have been a lot worse, you know? Like what if my grandparents weren't there? You know what I mean? So like gratitude is deep. Like, you know, when we look at different things from the scene and where they come from, you know what I mean? Anyways, so with dead eyes, he took the lumber to town to get some coin, and he returned with her, a great, huge golden woman with a crooked smile and a rotten thing in the place where other people have hearts. What? Let me read that again. With dead eyes, he took the lumber to town to get some coin, and he returned with her, a great, huge, golden woman with a crooked smile and a rotten thing in the place where other people have hearts. We knew that, for she laid down her law right away. She sat down, spreading herself wide across the chair, while we were told to stand up, told that there was to be no more idle time with our father, for he had work to do, and to waste his time was a sin. Told there was to be no speaking from us, none at all, without us being spoken to first, and that we had to do as she bid, when she bid, or she would beat us. for the good of our own souls. And if we displeased her, which soon proved to be often, we would be locked in a dark place under the floor without food until we had learned our lesson. Oh my goodness, sounds like my hellhole too, in a different way. In addition to our lesson learned again and again, we also learned that she had brought our father back to us even more changed than before. He was now filled with the things of the town, and the wildfire they drank together made them sleep all of the day and stay up deep into the night. And my brother and I started to walk farther and farther into the forest each day, avoiding them both, thinking perhaps we might find our mother there. Every day we stayed out longer, and sometimes we found wild things to eat. And while the sun and the oak were still on the throne, we lived just with each other. Soon we built a little shelter beside our father's house, weaving it from willow and other winding trees, and we would creep in there when the roaring and the fighting and then the beatings began. They'd beat each other. Oh, maybe this is most, I don't know, but I see, I like part of my story is I grew up in violence. Like, I felt like there wasn't a day that cops weren't called to my house. You know what I mean? So, anyways, where were we? They beat each other, and we would leave and lie within the little house we made, and we said we'd like to run away and find our mother, and then we would all live in the forest together. Soon winter came, and it was cold, and nothing grew, and we, all of us, got very, very hungry. The kind of hunger that is like something else is living in your belly and your flesh is its feast. We grew thin and weak, and there was no more creeping out at night, for it was too cold. But all the wildfire they drank replaced any of the grain or the root vegetables we needed for winter. And because we were inside, we found out why they fought. They fought about us. They will take everything we have, she would hiss. We would be lying in the corner of the room we shared with our hands over each other's ears, telling each other not to listen, but we heard her anyway. They can go to the forest. We don't have to hurt them. They can go live there. They spent all their summer days there, and I've heard them say they want to find their mother. Maybe they will, or maybe they will just live wild till spring. Then, if things are good, she'd wheedle her soft hair like butter falling down around her face. They can come back. Our father said nothing. He'd gone as dumb as old wood. It would be kindness to us both. We could live and have our own. Still, our father said nothing. And if they're meant to live, well, then they will, she said. We stared into the cold darkness and began to plan. Hansel had the first idea, to save our bread so we would have a supply to eat. But she snatched us and took us away before we could even put our jackets on that day, and we walked with only our rags to keep us warm. She laughed when we shivered, saying we would warm soon when we had walked enough. Hansel walked a little way behind, weeping and sniffling and picking up white pebbles, pretending to wipe his nose on his sleeve and tucking the stones into his pockets. And as we left the familiar track, she blindfolded us so we would not know how to return. But she did not check Hansel's taggedy pockets, and so he dropped the pebbles one at a time, leaving a secret trail we would find. Deep in the forest, she left us without word. We only knew she was gone because the world was silent for a while, and her tavern smell was gone. We sat down and released the rags that were tight about our eyes, and we waited a while. And then, when the moon rose and the owls were about, and the forest seemed still to be our friend, we crept home by moonlight and nestled next to the fire, caring not what the two of them thought. We weren't going that easy. The next day, when they found us, our father wept and held us tight and rocked me in his arms and sang Hansel a song. but she sat in the corner and stared at us, a knife in her hands. I could blind you both, she said after he cut down the wood to keep the fires burning. Or cut off your hands and feet when we get to the next place I'm taking you. And so she took us out again. Our father wasn't there when we left, but we think he let her take us. He was weakened by her. Somehow, and though I could cry. Somehow, and though he could still swing an axe and fell a tree as tall as 20 men, all his power and pride was gone. This time, though, we had the chance to snatch our raggedy jackets with their pockets, which Hansel had filled with old bread, and we dropped little bits along the way. When we reached the next point of abandonment, even deeper into the forest than before, she took out 2 lengths of old rags and tied us to the roots of the tree. What a bitch. Like, that's miserably, like, what? I don't remember this story this way. This is not the way I remember the story. Stay, she said, like one would to their dog. We didn't say a word, and she walked away, leaving us there in the cold and the gathering night, and we took each other's hands, and after a while, we began to find a way to untie ourselves from the tree. Once we were free, we fell asleep in each other's arms, the only place there was any warmth, and when we woke, we began to follow the breadcrumbs back to our house. But the birds were rising too, and even as we followed the crumbs, the birds found them, and starving as they were, they took it, and the path was lost to us forever, and the forest closed in about us, all the trees looking alike, and although we knew our way around its kind of parts in this, its dark heart, we were lost. Hansel's hand was warm in mine, though, and we found a way to keep our spirits lifted. We spoke of all the good things in the world and of what we would do when spring came, what kind of house we would have, and how many dogs, and how we would keep a cat to hold the mice at bay, and we teased each other as brothers and sisters do. We didn't know where we were going, but we had to move. To stay alive, we had to find some place where we could find food and a place to shelter. Just as we thought we must rest, we could smell smoke in the forest, the kind made by wood fire. I thought we must be dreaming or going a little mad, for who could be here tending a fire in this great, dark, cold place? But as we walked, a path began to clear before us, and grass grew underfoot, and the air felt a little warmer. It was as if things were somehow different in this part of the forest. Soon, the path opened up to a grove of great old oaks, and amidst that circle of immense oaken ones lay a little cottage, sweet and tidy, with a neatly stacked wood pile to one side. Hansel's eyes grew wide as we came closer, for the cottage was covered in embellishments that appeared to be breads. It was as if the little home was made out of the gingerbread of our memory. Gingerbread lined the windows in place of eaves, and the tiles on the roof were layers of cake, it seemed. It was a vision only starving children would see, and we gazed at it, and then at each other, unable to believe what appeared to be before our eyes. Hansel broke first, his thin legs wobbling as he ran, and he rapped on the door in a way that broke my heart. I am his older sister. I should have been able to take care of him. And there he was, pleading in a high, thin voice for help at the door of this strange and wonderful cottage. I reached him just as he broke off the door handle. We gazed at it together, and he pushed it into his mouth, for it was not wood, but something sweet and full of sugar. Every part of the house was glazed and good to eat, though we did not know the name for all the treats, for we had never seen their like before. I reached for the confections that formed the shingles on the roof and pulled one off and ate and ate and ate. We did not eat so much of the house that it would be noticed, but somehow we knew that there would be a payment. For there is never something taken without something needing to be given in return. Perhaps, said Hansel, hopefully crumbs falling from his lips. It's a gift from the birds we shared our bread with. Maybe a good fairy lives here and saw our kindness and how things were at our father's house and now wishes for this place to be our home. That may be, I said, though I did not think so. Let's wait. We will see who lives here, and we can tell them what we have done. Perhaps we can exchange our labor for food this winter. Perhaps, I said, beginning to dare to hope. It is a kind person. Perhaps they are like mother, Hansel said. Perhaps, I said, though I knew no one could be like mother. So we waited, and we resisted eating all we could, but we did keep eating, and we felt something close to happiness. It may have been the sweetness of everything on offer, or it may have been that we thought we had found a new home. We slept a while, slumped against the door so that we did not hear the boots. And so we did not hear the boots falling on the path, but we felt their kicks when she arrived. The witch of the forest. She was small and hunched over and had a staff, which we felt before we saw it. Stupid children, she said, her voice full of creaks like an old gate in a sly wind. Get in, she whizzed. I see you at my door handle, she said, laughing in a strange way. She pushed the door open. But you didn't go inside. Better manners than the mice, then. We got up dazed, and I hastily wiped Hansel's face with my sleeve. He was a beautiful boy, face still plump with childhood and good to look at. I hoped she would take a liking to him. The witch brought us in and fed us more milk, from where I did not know, and good bread and butter. And we began to wonder if she was just harsh of tongue, but kind of heart. She put us to bed, and we slept all the night long, and in the morning, she put me to work. But Hansel, she put in a cage. The cage was hauled up by a rope. She made me do it. She said it was a young person's work, and she promised she would feed him up and then eat my brother whole when he had more fat on his small bones. And this I knew she would do, for I began to find bones about the place, large bones, and I noticed she wore about her neck a locket, one I had seen before. Only then it had been on the neck of my mother. And so I know whose bones they were and wept briefly in the yard while I swept it. Back in the cottage, I passed the bone to Hansel in the cage to show him the truth of her threat. We will find a way out. He slumped to the floor of his cage looking at the bone. Did you see the locket she has? I asked. He nodded. You know whose it is. This time I saw one fat tear slide down his dirty cheek. Sweetheart, I whispered, I will get us out. So the witch fed up, and day after day he grew plump. Oh, sorry. I'm going to read that again. Cut. Did you see the locket she has? I asked. He nodded. You know whose it is. This time I saw one fat tear slide down his dirty cheek. Sweetheart, I whispered, I will get us out. So the witch fed him up, and day after day he grew plumper. But she was as blind as she was hungry for his flesh, and each day she asked him to stick out a finger so she could see how tasty he was becoming. But Hansel was clever, and would stick out the bone of our mother, and the witch would scowl and frown and touch and urge me to feed him more. Then finally she said, I'll have your sister this night, you skinny boy. You can't, he cried out. I will, and she will prepare herself for my feast, she replied, her milky eyes crinkling with laughter. She looked like she could have been my grandmother, a kind woman who rocked children by the fire. Getting excited. Oh no, what's going to happen, guys? Oh no, oh no, oh no. I will, and she will prepare herself for my feast, she replied, her milky eyes crinkling with laughter. She looked like she could have been my grandmother, a kind woman who rocked children by the fire. But no, instead, she ate them. Turn on the oven, girl, she ordered, and I got up slowly. Where is it? I said. The stupider I was, the slower this would go. Come, girl, it's here. The door was wide enough for me to fit into, and I opened it up. It smelled of grease and fat and bones. Clean it, she ordered, and I scrubbed and washed until all trace of our mother was gone. And when the oven was clean, she said, I shall cut your throat first, girl, if you do not fuss. That will be a kindness. She laughed to herself. Oh, no, wait, let me read this again. Cut! Hold up. This is getting gruesome. I don't remember this like this. I don't remember this like this. Turn on the oven, girl, she ordered, and I got up slowly. Where is it? I said. The stupider I was, the slower this would go. Come, girl, it's here. The door was wide enough for me to fit into, and I opened it up. It smelled of grease and fat and bones. Clean it, she ordered. And I scrubbed and washed until all trace of our mother was gone. And when the oven was clean, she said, I shall cut your throat first, girl, if you do not fuss. That will be a kindness. She laughed to herself, soft and dark. The last one there she fought. I was not so kind to her. Thank you, old mother, I said. My voice shook and I sounded frightened. I was, but something else was in me too. It was fury. It lit the light within me and sparked my mind into action. I shall then, child, fetch me my knife. It's there on the wall. Do not think to cut me with it. It cannot hurt me, for it's enchanted. I fetched the blade and handed it to her right way round by the black handle, like my mother had taught me. Like the oven, child, then we'll finish this quick and kind. As I peered into the depths of the oven, it was as if my mother's strength filled me, and I could smell her rainwater smell and see her pale green and brown hair like tree roots. You are clever, my girl, the witch said. You know what to do. I cannot see how to do it, old mother, I called from within. I'm trying, but I cannot find the place to light it from. It's there, girl, up the back, in the center. I'm sorry. Please say you'll kill me quick. I'm stupid and ignorant, and I cannot see it. My hands shake so. She spat with the stuff. She sat. All right, so wait a minute. What's going on here, right? So I see what she's doing. So, you are clever, my girl, the witch said. You know what to do. I cannot see how to do it, old mother, I called from within. I'm trying, but I cannot find the place to light it from. It's there, girl, up the back, in the center. I'm sorry. Please say you'll kill me quick. I'm stupid and ignorant. I cannot see it. My hand shakes. She spat with disgust and stamped her foot with its pointy toes and pulled me out of the oven with such force I was stunned at her strength. Idiot girl, I may have to cook you slow. No, I cried, cringing from her. I'll do it, she snarled. Stay there, or you'll cook slow and it will be hard on you, girl. I won't move, I whispered. And the witch crawled deep inside the oven and lit it. Ha! She gloated, her voice echoing back to me. I can taste you now. Before she could back out, I leaped up and shoved that door closed. I pulled on the handle and locked her fast inside. And when she realized what I'd done, she screamed with outrage and hammered with her fist on the oven door. Let me out, she pleaded. I won't eat you, nor your brother if you do. I said nothing, only moved to lower the cage and let out Hansel. As we held each other silently, we felt the heat rising from the oven, and the more the witch pleaded, the harder we hugged each other. And finally we covered our ears at her screams, not because we pitied her, but because we knew our mother must have screamed so once. We never opened the oven again, but we stayed in the cottage for the winter. And we searched every crevice and corner of that neat, awful little house, and in so doing, we found a chest filled with jewels, rings, and necklaces that belonged to those she devoured in that horrible place. We learned where the milk and the butter came from, for the witch had left offerings for the fairy people, and they had brought her their gifts in return. So we did the same, and their fairy cow's sweet milk and butter was ours, and we ate and ate until we were fat. So fat we could have fed 2 witches like her. Then we took all the bones and buried them deep in the forest, but not near where the witch had lived. Our mother and all the rest of those who lived she stolen deserved to rest far away from where that hateful creature had spent her days. And when the world grew warm again, my brother and I filled our pockets with all the treasure we could take. We slipped rings all the way up every finger of both of our hands. We looped necklaces around our necks and hid them beneath our rags. Finally, we took the cottage apart and made a little cart from the wood and filled it with food. The fairies offered us one of their cows, and that cow pulled our plunder as we followed the fairy lights through the forest. We reached its edges and were once again at our father's house, what once had been our mother's home, and we watched until we saw he was quite alone. There was a fresh dug grave out the back, and when we peered closer, we could see a rough carving of her. We looked at each other and wondered if he had been hunger or wildfire or our father who had ended her life, but we did not care. And so we went to the door and we knocked, and our father opened the door and he wept. And we watched him as if from a great distance as he made his apologies, and we told him of our mother. Hansel may have forgiven him, but I, Gretel, his daughter, never did. He had let us be taken into the deepest, darkest heart of the forest, and he had let her leave us, same as if it had been by his own hand. But I lived with him and cared for him when the years of sickness came before he passed, and I cried a little when I buried him deep in the earth. And all these years later, long after my brother and I bought a house in the village, I still hold my children close before they go to the trees that are on the edge of a town. And when our neighbors learn about out when our neighbors learn about out where we grew up, they say, oh, they wish they could have lived within the forest. How peaceful, how lovely, they croon. When they do that, I look over at my brother and at his children and mine, and we know we will keep our kin in the town forever and ever and ever. For we were taken into that forest's dark heart to die. And I say, do you really want to live in the forest? And maybe it's the way I say it or the look in my eye, but they never mention a word about it again. Page 77. If you've been born in 1977, 1976, you don't have to be. But it's interesting. So I don't remember the detailing of Hansel and Gretel to be this explicit in that kind of way. But we think about it, like our conditioning of today and how we still caretake for people that literally left us there to die. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like a far out cry, like the sickness, right? Of how, but like also forgiveness, right? Because it says Hansel may have forgiven him, but I, Gretel, his daughter, never did. And I just feel like, you know, the same way that the author, the person, the narrator telling the story is like, do you really want to live in the forest? You know? Yeah, even after the story. Because the witch was the only bad thing in the forest. And now she dead. So the forest is safe now. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that's pretty cool. So yeah. So what's gonna be the next story? Right? So all right, hold on. The Goose Girl. So this is gonna be the next story, okay? The Goose Girl. Like my bookmark. Right? The Goose Girl is gonna be the next story. So the wisdom of Hansel and Gretel. Okay, we're gonna read this. This is a terrible tale, so full of cruelty. But what is miraculous is that the children survive. They do so because they use their wits. They are clever and they are cunning. They plan and they prepare. They take advantage of moments when people underestimate them. And when they return, they have learned, and they are a little cynical. In fact, the way grown-up Gretel reflects upon other people's romantic notions of the forest seems to me to warn us against idolizing. Surely these children were disillusioned at a very early age, but they were clever and they were wise and they had each other. That they held each other's hands, covered each other's ears, and finally emerged from the dark forest together. All this is a testament to the power of teamwork and to mutual concern and care. If we too can use our disillusionment, which will inevitably come in life, to bring us freedom, and if we too can have at least one close friend or ally who cares for us as we care for them, then we too will emerge from the dark forest in our life and find ways to survive. Perhaps even as Hansel and Gretel do, we will ultimately thrive. I love that. I love that. I love that. So thank you so much for tapping in, turning on, tuning in. Yeah, till next time, expansiveness. Eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. Trust, right? Allow me, divine, to give you my deepest longings, trusting you to know exactly how to handle them. Divine flow. Eventually, one sublime desire takes precedence over all others to follow the Tao, the divine flow at all costs. At all costs. Right? You could also follow me on Instagram at Enchantress, ENCHANTRESS. That's me, the one and only. You have two options over there to follow and subscribe. You can also find me on TikTok, Alchemistic Poetess. That's me. You can also go to Enchanting Babble on Blogger, enchantingbabble.blogspot.com. And you can also check me out at witchyutopian.com. You could also purchase my book, The Darker Nightlight of My Soul, Volume 1, Love Bites. It's a love oracle book. Turn to any random page. Companionship keeps coming up, right? Didn't courtship come up before too? Giving someone your complete presence is an astonishing gift, right? And that's cool, right? Eyes of the soul. Like, let's do this before we go, right? Before we go, please don't go. Don't go. Somebody could be singing that. Don't go away. Hey, 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 hey. Please don't go. Don't go. I want you to stay. Yeah, yeah. Love with an open heart, right? Love with an open heart, right? Trust, embody ancient wisdom, right? Explore other realms, right? You could be having dreams too that could be signaling to you that something new is emerging too in your relationships as well, right? Regaining your youth and flying high, right? Something regeneration, death, and rebirth. So something new is coming into existence, right? Justice will triumph, right? This justice card, right? Taking action. Somebody could be taking action towards you, right? Or you could just be taking action in life, right? The powerful space between opposite poles could be also you could be 45 years old too, but like dealing with the polarities, right? Check out my north node. My north, what did I do? One of my recent videos, I forgot what I called it, but it has to do something with the north node shifting from the Taurus Scorpio axis to the Aries Libra one. Don't quote me on that. But I did a video. I did a video. I did a video. So definitely go check that out. Let's see what's going here. Definitely go check that out. Right? Union, wedding, married, right? Here we go. The butterfly, relationships, right? Evolutionizing, the nest phase, healing the inner child growth, right? So there's people too could be watching you, talking to, interested, right? Interested in what you got going, right? Passion could be exuding the phoenix, new phase, rekindling, renew, transformation, major transformation at this time, right? Especially with the butterfly here, right? Especially in relationships as well. Right. And that's going to start with you first, right? No matter what, like any change relationship outside of anything is going to first, I like you. Somebody's going to tell you that, right? Romance is blooming, fun flirting, want to date. You see what I'm saying? Like I pulled from different decks and the courtship, right? Some shit is coming out, right? Somebody wants to, I like you. I like you so much. I want you. Welcoming love, right? Meeting the one, open your heart, getting together, right? Right? Got the key. Didn't I with the charms the last time, right? Someone has the key to your heart, the chaser, right? Fear of abandonment issues, right? So don't let somebody feel like that either. If someone shows a genuine interest in you and you're actually genuinely interested, don't make them chase you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, be real. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Don't play games. Photograph, looking at your photos, right? So a lot of people I feel like can be looking at your photos. A lot of people could also be interested in you. So a lot of people could be chasing you too. That's what I'm hearing, right? A lot of people like you. A lot of people feel like you would be the key to their heart. Okay. Wedding rings, look at, but what is that? Right? The wedding rings and look at, so watching, lurking, stalking, right? So people could be stalking at you as much as they can, right? Depending on what kind of where are you in life, right? At work, or like if you work in a public setting, or if you go to a public thing, like, like let's say, like I'm just saying, like for example, the gym, the library, something like that, somewhere, a coffee shop or something. Social media, you know what I'm saying? Like these type of things and stuff like that. So um yeah, actually. Right. Yeah. I like you. Look at that shit still wants to come out. So somebody look at that's the story. Somebody likes you, right? So somebody could be a little melancholy, right? So it's like also like different. So I feel like too, like different personality types. So one might be more cheerful than the other, like, or maybe you both are too. Like, I don't know, but also maybe it's something with a VE, love and partnerships, EV, right? Evan, Vanessa, something like that, right? A dancer, someone here could be a dancer, right? Out of this world. Look at that key again, lock and key, love, right? Lock and key, right? Butterfly transformations, right? Major transformations in love, like the butterfly heart, right? Something to going like I like you, right? So you might be a little bit, right? I feel like this is you, right? This could be you, right? A little grumpy, little melancholy, like me. Like in regards to like love, meanwhile you want it. So somebody could be coming in a little bit more joyful, right? Because I like you. This one fell on top of here that I like you. So they might cheer you up, right? They be like, hey, smile, right? That type of shit, because they want to build roots with you, right? To a sister, so finance, wealth, like a sister, someone to dream, cry, sing, laugh with too. So you could be having conversations with a sister, with your sister. You could be having a kinship with someone that feels like a sister, or like, whether this is an actual sister or not. Right here, look at playful cat, right? Like a kitten. Someone looks at you like a sexy kitten, like whatever, like a playful, because look at she believed she could, so she did. Look, I like you. Someone is um feels like you inspire them to, oh, look at baby too. I don't know why I think of baby, like social life too. You could be going to maybe a baby shower or something, or you could be having one, right? Las Vegas. Somebody here could be from Las Vegas, you could be traveling to Las Vegas. Somebody here could be a musician, social life. Like you could be an actual musician. Right here, social life. Look at willpower. That what you put to someone could be out there, like as a musician, like, you know what I mean? They could be traveling, they could be in Las Vegas, you could meet in Las Vegas or something like that. Crystallize your dreams, the building blocks of your dreams. So that someone can be building up the courage to come to you, right? Because they really truly you your story, whatever your story is, inspires them. Like you they admire you. So you have somebody that likes you, that admires you, whether this is someone that you're actually with or not, and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. This, I just feel like here the storyline that's coming out here is this: if let's say you're single, you're celibate, you're a virgin, like, or abstinent and stuff like that, like somebody's is drawn to you. And it might be different kind of moods. Like you might be like off put about love too, and like, no, thank you. And meanwhile they're like, hey, sunshine. And they're like, I like you. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Right? You got B, C, these could be initials too. H, they can have that, or that could be where they live or something like that. So health and well-being, look at this. This is like a major death transformation. You could also be dealing with a loss of some kind as well. So a lot of healing and stuff like that. So a sister, this is the sister one again, right? Then you have a King of Wands. This could be a fire sign as well, right? Finance as well. You could be a fire sign as well. It doesn't, have to be. So I just feel like, look, a lot of out of this world type of stuff. So like you're out of this world and they feel like you're out of this world. They've never met someone like you, right? So you have their heart, right? You have their heart. Like if this is like a hummingbird or something like that too, which is very significant. So someone here might be a celebrity, a star or something like that. So you might have the attention of a star or a star seed. I love you, right? Somebody loves you, right? They can have, this could be the color of their birthmark or something like that, birthstone or something like that, or whatever. Somebody with the letter B can love you. B, C, B, H, or whatever the case may be. T, something, they can have a T in their name, or whatever the case may be. So someone, this could, you could live in a place that has HCB T in it, or whatever the case may be. Flower blooming, something is blooming, right? And be playful, right? So you might have the attention of a star. You might be a star on the rise too, because it's near finances and all this kind of stuff. So you might be a kitten, a star. Even I hear porn star. Look at, oh, I didn't see the smiley face. Look, so this is like coming out of like a certain type of mood or way of being and being happier now. Major transformations in your own guidance, your own spirituality, your own placements and stuff like that. This is good. This is really good. Dare to dream, right? You're feeling a lot more cheerful about what you are setting out to do, right? What you're setting out to do here in the world, right? Some of you might be a dancer, a choreographer, a ballerina. You might be into fitness right now, yoga, gymnastics, tai chi, qigong, like things like mind body awareness, health, like wealth and all this kind of stuff. Traveling, doing the things that you love, right? You believe you could, she believed she could, so she did, right? So doing the things that you love, liking that what you do, loving that what you do, traveling too. I feel like there's a lot of traveling. I feel like people look at you like you're otherworldly, like you're euphoric, you make people feel good, they love to be in your presence too, right? People feel like you're like a sister to them as well, or brother, whatever the case may be. You might have fire in your chart, but right now too, your finances, your wealth is taking off. It's passionate. It's being passionate about what you're doing. You're like setting yourself ablaze. It's like you're taking better care of yourself. You're working out. You're doing certain things. You're being focused. You're sticking to a plan. You're making a plan. You're devising a plan. You're consistent with your plans. You're doing a lot of things, right, to help yourself. Right. So connecting to spirit self, right? Connecting, right? And we're gonna check out this rune too, and healing your heart too, the healing the wounds, connecting with, this is Langoose. This came up for me again. This came up for me actually in a sun meditation. Like I was seeing this, like other people wouldn't have seen it. I was seeing it, right? Like in my mind's eye, like that type of shit, right? Right too, and like this beauty, like this home, you're like this like it doesn't have to be traditional, but there's going to be something ancient, something traditional, something royal, something elegant too, something luxurious, something wealthy, like too, like just like heirlooms is what I hear too, like, or whatever the case may be. And in your family roots, in your family trees, right? Look at life as a gift, right? And treasuring that too, treasuring that aspect of life too, healing, having major transformation in what has hurt you too, or the hurt too, right? So this one right here, I made these. These are, they're seashells that collected on my travels and things like that. Um, these are from a specific, very potent beach or whatever that has crystals and stuff like that. So because this one keeps coming up for me, I'm gonna do this one first, right? So Laguz means lake. It's about your subconscious, right? Collective memory, unity, psychic powers, right? Landed here by spirits, dreams, imaginations, right? Our future selves call us from infinite past, and each night are eroded with our dreams. Laguz literally means water or ocean, unconscious collective memory. The rune of the unconscious context of becoming or the evolutionary process. It's the rune of life's longing for itself. What? Okay. It's about emotion, our psychic powers, the unconscious, our mental processes, love, dreaming, right? Its energy is the life energy, ocean spirit, origins of life, collective unconscious, the astral plane, love as unity and evolution, right? Mundane. On a mundane level, it's about water, imagination, occultism, and dreams, right? Divinations, it's about life, passing a test, sea of vitality, and of the unconscious growth, memory, dreams, or fears, circular motion, avoidance, withering, depression, manipulations, emotional blackmail, lack of moral fiber, fantasy, poison, toxicity. It governs transpersonal powers, mastery of emotion in order to shape word, guidance through difficult initiatory test, initiation into life, right? Increase in vitality and life force, communication between your conscious mind to another's unconscious mind, development of second sight or prophetic wisdom, all powers of dreaming, lucid dreams, astral projection, right? Water is the symbol of unconscious and invisible life forces. All of life is dependent on water, and therefore Laguz represents the universal ocean, the supreme unity of all life, past, present, and future. Oh my gosh. And if you're watching any and all my videos, that's why I say watch all my videos, even if it's in parts, just get through them. I've been talking about that, right? We're in this transitionary period of past meeting with the present, working with the future, right? All three have to make this trine. I've been talking about it, like, definitely if you've been following, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, so this is deep, okay? So Laguz represents the universal ocean, the supreme unity of all life, past, present, and future. The dream state and the Jungian shadow element both linger beneath its surface, right? And the human unconscious, it's revealed when explored and exposed to the conscious mind. We take the plunge to the runic initiate. The unconscious forces are controlled for good use through mastery of runic skills. Still, the initiate understands the potency of the unconscious seed to break loose from its control and is ever watchful. The substance of Laguz is everywhere present, pervades all things and underlies all manifestation. It is the living energy out of which everything is made. It sustains and enriches any idea that is projected into it. The ability to see clairvoyantly and into the future are psychic talents associated with Laguz, as is protection from physical and psychic poisons. The rune can be used in establishing a communications links from your conscious mind under willful intent to the unconscious mind of another. Caution and much wisdom must be exercised in such subtle manipulations. Water is a physically chargeable medium, and this includes all vital liquids such as blood and spittle. There are the fluids that carry your life force and act as a bonding medium for many, if not all, of your psycho-spiritual constructs. I love that. And that's been coming up for me days straight. Okay. Yeah. So, and then you have here So, sorry. This is Dagat, right? Dagat. It means day. It's about awakening, enlightenment, invisibility, right? The paradox, right? Time is an illusion that once realized is lovingly embraced nonetheless, right? It's the rune of hyper consciousness, the process of concept becoming realized. It's about paradoxal truth, incommunicable experience, conceptual realization, enlightenment, and satori. The energy is twilight, dawn, polarity, non-dual reality, unity, synthesis, and transmutation. On a mundane level, it's another day, daylight, the inevitability of dawn. Its divinations is awakening, awareness, hope, happiness, the ideal, paradigm shifts, or lack of vision, sleep, blindness, hopelessness, cataclysmic change, right? It governs the mystical moment through penetration of the secret of paradox or non-duality, reception of mystical inspiration, the gift of Odin, disappearance in the act of becoming the invisible, invisibility as an organizing principle of higher consciousness, synthesis of right left brain dynamics. That's what we get here, right? This is quantum psychic physics up in here every single time. This is innerattainment for your evolutionary entertainment, right? Transformation of one thing into its opposite, integration of female and male into complete beings. And then we have that polarity, that opposite. Dagas is the counterpart to the rune Jera. Both refer to time. Jera on an annual cycle and Dagas on a daily cycle. Both are runes of change. Jera is a rune of gentle change. Dagas is a rune of bold change, right? We're in Leo season too, right? So the burst of light at the moment of illumination. The burst of light at the moment of illumination. It contains within its energies the experience called satori, a spiritual awakening experience common in all cultures. Archaeological evidence proves that Dagas has been used as a symbol of light for more than 4,000 years. It is the rune of hyperconsciousness. Achievement of this state of mind seems to be a relatively rare occurrence in human life at this stage of evolution. When chronicled, it marks the beginnings of the mission of a world savior on Earth. Much has been written on the psychology and metaphysics of uniting left and right brain functions. Dagas holds dominion over this union, and it is a tool that gives you great potency for present awareness and future growth. It is reminiscent of the luminescent, the symbol of infinity, and the Mobius strip, timelessness, and illimitable potential, as well as an overturned hourglass. The point of pose entails balancing polarity so that all mystery is revealed to consciousness. The transformation of paradox into non-dual awareness occurs with Daga's energy. It is to find the center between two extremes and maintaining a state of undisturbed by any mental or emotional storm. At the center, all power is to be found, and equilibrium is a desirable attainment. This practice eventually leads to the practitioner no longer requiring a single right or wrong answer to the mysteries, and many truths can exist complementary to one another. I can cry. No one single belief or viewpoint is sufficient, and so all beliefs and viewpoints can be progressively abandoned. Like to entertain the thought, the ability to be able to entertain a thought without making it your own, right? I love that. And the stillness and silent questioning of the mind that is left behind, all truth resounds, right? Dagas can be used to gain absolute stillness. It is invisible, transforming power. The vibrational patterns of the self or an object can be dampened so that the perception of material things to the human eye grow faint. Finding this point of poise takes great skill and practice with Dagas, but mastery of this rune of enlightenment leads down the path of disappearance. Mastery of invisibility leads to the understanding of existence through its opposite, non-existence. An interesting thing to keep in mind is that the Furthark had no room for the night or the moon. These are absences, not things.
Darkness is not darkness, it is the quality of light. The sun is always there. It is our world that spins around and causes the illusion that it is not. As well, the light of the moon is a reflection of the sun's light. There is little reason to think that the ancients were not aware of this, even mathematically. Darkness is not darkness is a wonderful saying to meditate upon, and will reveal to the seeker that there is no true opposites as we are often convinced of, but only polarities within the supreme mystery of existence. And that's what I have for you. Till next time. Bye.